Hello, I'm Armin Budish. Welcome to Golden Opportunities.
Today, planning on paying off your mortgage? We have priceless information. Then, no one chooses Alzheimer's, but we can still make choices. Here are choice advice. Cleveland is tops in pop. We'll see how Clevelanders pop up in pop culture. Plus, we'll share wisdom on how to work your way back to wellness. And the best and worst ways to provide financial help for your kids.
Time to get GOing, so pull up a chair. Join us at our kitchen table for Golden Opportunities. Remember when folks had parties to celebrate paying off the mortgage? Maybe you're thinking that's a celebration you'd like to have. Before you send out the invitations, we've invited Jim Lineweaver to tell us whether mortgage payoffs are truly an inviting idea today. Jim's a certified financial planner with the Lineweaver Financial Group. Thanks for joining us, Jim.
My pleasure.
All right, so savings accounts are earning nothing. CDs about nothing. Retirement funds have dropped in many cases. So wouldn't it be better if we pulled our money and just paid off the mortgage?
Not always. I know you want to get out there and paint the door red, but it doesn't always make the most sense. What ends up happening is that everybody's situation is different, and you got to look at how much that may pigeonhole you into a situation that you may not be able to get out of, or depending on if you have other credit card debt and things along that nature, you got to really look at the big picture.
Are there places to put our money that are better than paying off the mortgage?
There is. There's some very good income and dividend producing things out there that can get you in the 4 or 5% range.
Really?
Yeah.
Safely?
And relatively safe. I mean, you can even get 3.5% in a straight fixed annuity with no fees or expenses right now.
Okay.
But that may put a little handcuff around your money for a little bit of time, but needless to say, you can easily get it working more than a savings or checking account today.
What about other kinds of debts? Should we take our money and pay other things off?
Yeah, always look at that, because see, remember, for most people, your house payment and the mortgage on your house, or maybe an equity line of credit, that's usually tax deductible against your income. So you get a tax break, and at these low interest rates, it can be a great opportunity to pay off other things like high credit card debt, maybe 12 or 18% that you can't deduct. Maybe there's student loans sitting out there. Maybe you have an auto payment that you're paying 5 or 6% on. Look at those things that are not deductible first before you just slap something down on your mortgage.
What about, the old, we should, before we pay off our mortgage, maybe we should take a big pot of money and just put it in savings, not so much to earn money for us, but to be there in case of a disaster, in case of an illness or a layoff from work or something like that. Does that still make sense, and how much should we be putting aside?
That's huge, because a lot of people don't realize if they dump a lot of money into their house and they get laid off, they can't necessarily go get that back out.
You used to be able to,
You
much
could.
easier.
Oh, so flexible, it was ridiculous, and that's why we got into some of the problems that we have today. But what happens is now is, that's why I caution people, you want to have about 3 to 6 months of after-tax reserves of what you'd spend on a monthly basis set aside so you don't get into a jam. And you used to be able to use an equity line of credit for that.
Right.
And say, hey, I don't need to keep something in savings, and I could have it in the equity line. But don't forget, in this last pinch back in 2008, a lot of companies pulled back in those equity line of credits, and they became no longer available. So have a balance. Life is all about balances. Make sure you keep about 3 months in reserves.
Now, the rules you've just given us, rules of thumb, are really helpful. Is there anything that's different when we're in or heading into retirement that we should be thinking about?
Yeah, from a financial standpoint, it doesn't always make sense to pay off your mortgage. From just a sleeping well at night, by the time you hit retirement, you may want that paid off. So if that's the case, we don't fight it. We come up with a way that people can have that house payment paid off, so that way they're not spending so much money out of pocket in retirement.
I know a lot of people just feel better knowing that they don't have that $300, $400 a month payment every month that they got to pay $1,000, whatever it might be,
Right.
Hanging over them, even though $1 in the bank or $1 in the house should be pretty much the same dollar, but people don't think of it that way.
Exactly, and also you're not going to get the appreciation like we used to. Who knows when our real estate values are going to come back in line. But also you got to look at refinancing today, because if you can drop a point or more on your interest rate, go ahead and look at really refinancing. It could help you out a lot.
Just a point or more, it's worth it?
Yes.
Very
Make a
good.
big difference.
And a lot of people can do that today because the rates have just continued to
That's
fall.
one huge advantage that we have right now. So if you're looking at that, take advantage of it now before they go up.
Thank you, Jim. Good advice.
My pleasure.
Before you plan your mortgage burning party, first make sure you're not burning any financial bridges. Follow Jim's advice to make sure you don't mortgage your financial security in retirement. We'll be back.
Find out more by calling the Lineweaver Financial Group at 1-888-313-4009 or visit www.lineweaver.net. Next, why being choosy is a good choice for Alzheimer's patients. But first, a luscious lobster dish was not always served up with the name Lobster Newburg. Do you know the tale? We'll catch you up on its original name when we return.
Welcome to Breckenridge Village, a continuing care retirement community conveniently located in historic Willoughby, Ohio. Whether it's a luxury apartment, a spacious ranch home, or newly built brownstones, it's all here with the added security of knowing more care is available when you need it. Breckenridge Village offers an exciting and upbeat lifestyle, and the food is fabulous, and our staff makes you their #1 priority. Learn more about Breckenridge Village and come see our new Veal Wellness and Aquatic Center.
This tale may be hard to swallow, but Lobster Newburg was originally called Lobster Weinberg to honor shipping magnate Ben Weinberg, who traveled the recipe from South America and docked in New York's Delmonico Eatery. The name Lobster Weinberg was tossed overboard when Mr. Weinberg's bad behavior caused a drunken brawl and he was banned forever from the restaurant.
Doesn't matter if you're 2 or 92, we don't like to be told what to do. This is especially true of Alzheimer's patients who feel, more than most of us, that they've lost control over their lives. Dr. Cameron Camp is the Director of Research and Development at the Center for Applied Research in Dementia in Solon. He's here to tell us how giving choices can help both the patient and their caregivers. Thanks for joining us, Doctor.
Pleasure.
So, giving choices really makes a difference?
It really does. Often we don't want to give over control of our lives to someone else, even if it's someone who loves us. This is a reason why it's so important to give choices, especially for a person who happens to have dementia.
When you say choices, is that, across the board, just everything, or are there certain things we should give choices and not others? Narrow it for me.
Yeah, it helps not to give open-ended choices. That's kind of tough. It's easier for a person with Alzheimer's disease to answer two-pronged choices. Would you like to wear this blouse or this blouse? And then they can just point to the one that they want, even if they have difficulty forming sentences.
So that's better than saying, which blouse do you want to wear? You give them two choices.
Exactly. You can say chicken or fish, and then you can have, would you like that baked or fried?
Okay, and if you give a choice, but you've limited it, that still counts as a choice.
If you do something like the last example, you've actually let them choose from 4 options, and you've given them 2 opportunities to make a choice, and that's important.
What if they say, go away, no, I don't want to make a choice, or, how do you deal with that?
A lot of times, if you start trying this, and up to that point, most of their choices have been taken away, people have done things for them, it may take them some time to get used to this. So you have to actually give them training again, in a sense, on how to make choices again. So they may say no, or I don't like that, and then you can say that's fine. You have to honor that choice and to say...
So that's still a choice. They've made a choice not to participate with you in your question.
Exactly so, and you can honor that, and you can say, I'll come back and check with you later. Think about what you might like. I'll think of something too. We'll see what we can come up with.
We've heard, sometimes you pass on the street a school that says Montessori school for our kids. I now hear Montessori training might have something to do with Alzheimer's as well?
Yeah, we're using Montessori educational approaches to create activities for persons with dementia that engage them, give them social roles, and therefore enable them to have a better quality of life and a better quality of life for their caregivers.
Activities. Give us something specific on how a Montessori education situation would help with activities for somebody with Alzheimer's.
Sure. Let's just say a person has difficulty being able to prepare dinner, and you have to prepare dinner for them. You could see if they could at least tear the lettuce for the salad rather than making the entire salad. If they can't do that, can they still read? Can they read to you while you make dinner? So it still gives them a chance to participate and enables them to succeed with the abilities that they still have.
And you're still with the choices, so you're giving them a choice. Would you tear the lettuce for me, or would you read me a story or something like that?
Exactly. Would you do this for me? Would you like to do this or this when we're doing dinner? So choice is always a critical element within this Montessori approach.
And when you give somebody a choice, how does that help them? Is it helping their self-esteem that they've been able to still have some control over something? Is that what it is?
That's exactly it. It gives a person a sense of control, and it enables them to have self-esteem. It validates their worth.
And there's more information available. I want to get this right you've put things up at Menorah Park's website. That's www.menorahpark.org/aging resources, and that's where people can go for more information.
I've given a presentation there. They've got that on the website, and it's a great source.
Thank you, Doctor. If your loved one has Alzheimer's, you may feel you don't have much choice about how to help them. But here's a choice you do have. You can call Dr. Camp or go on the website, find out more. The information is coming right up.
For more information, call the Center for Applied Research and Dementia at 440-829-4927 or log on to www.cen4ard.com. Next, Cleveland not only rocks, it pops! Looking for places to go, things to do? Welcome to our community calendar. Here's a present for you. Take a trip into the past. Stan Hewitt's Deck the Hall features scenes of Christmases from the past 100 years throughout the manor. You'll also enjoy a gift of musical entertainment and be bedazzled by the 500,000 lights sparkling around the estate. Just 2 weekends are left to tour this timely treasure. To find out more, call 888-836-5533 or visit www.stanhewitt.org.
Paul Newman, Elliot Ness, Henry Mancini, Superman. What's the common connection for these famous, occasionally infamous folks? The answer is Cleveland, or at least Northeast Ohio. Peter Chakarian has gathered the impressive roster of icons who can trace their roots to our area in Pop Goes Cleveland, the impact of Cleveland and Northeast Ohio on pop culture. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, so we have a book. It has all kinds of great information about Clevelanders. Why is it that so many writers and actors and musicians have come from our area?
Well, I think we've got a really impressive group of people that have lived here for a very long period of time. Immigrants from all walks and all places around the earth have ended up here. And so what the resulting quality of people that are here is that they have impressive ideas and things that they really want to show.
So let's go through your A-list, or maybe I should say C-list for Cleveland, and you can tell me how they relate to Cleveland. So let's start with Paul Newman.
Well, Paul Newman, born in Shaker Heights, and has been an impressive film icon for his entire life. No longer with us, unfortunately, but always made sure to highlight Cleveland as a part of his life, and he went on to be a huge heartthrob, I think,
that's for sure,
as it relates to the female population. But
my wife would drop me like this for him. What about Elliot Ness?
Elliot Ness, public safety director during the Prohibition era in Cleveland, and sort of got to hang his hat on nailing Al Capone. But had an awful lot to do with law enforcement being a big and important thing in everybody's mind, I think, and sort of in that sort of renegade way. And you've seen that character quality come up in movies, actually, further on down the road. He was immortalized in The Untouchables, too.
All right. Music. Everybody knows Northeast Ohio, the music capital of the world. Henry Mancini. Tell us about that.
Yeah, born in Little Italy and had an impressive list of musical contributions, primarily the Pink Panther theme people are most familiar with, but Moon River and certainly many other other amazing and impressive songs as well, that a lot of them ended up in movies.
Is Superman the most famous Clevelander?
He is, and as far as I can tell, Cleveland should have a statue erected of Superman in the way that Philadelphia has Rocky. Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster obviously created Superman here in Cleveland, and they sold the rights to it for about $130 back in that, back in the Depression
About
era.
the same price as Manhattan.
Yeah, pretty much, exactly. It took a long time for them to get their rights back and get their names adorned on that creation. Yes, they ultimately did, and certainly Superman is a billion-dollar industry now, and it all happened here first.
Well, thank you very much. This is a great book. Appreciate your taking the focus and telling our viewers all about it.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for having me.
We've only dropped a few names, and here are a few more. Bob Hope, Jesse Owens, and the sweetest name of all, Lifesavers, the candy. You can read about our homegrown stars in Pop Goes Cleveland. My thanks to Peter for popping in on us today.
To get hip about Pop Goes Cleveland, call the Cleveland Landmarks Press at 216-658-4144 or click to www.clevelandlandmarkspress.com. Next, on the road to rehab. It's time to get up and go. An exercise minute on golden opportunities.
Hello everybody, I'm Mike Harbin from Breakout Fitness, and today we're going to do an overhead extension. All right, we got our dumbbells. You ready to go?
Ready to go.
All right, the starting positions with our arms straight in the air. We want our elbow next to our ear. And what we're going to do is slowly drop it down behind your head to about a 90-degree angle, and then right back up. Always use slow and controlled movements. Straight up and straight down. Great, good job. Always remember, 16-ounce can equals 1 pound of weight if you don't have the dumbbells at home. All right, everybody, now it's your turn to get up and go.
For your copy of the exercise booklet, please send $1 for postage to Golden Opportunities, 23240 Chagrin Boulevard, Suite 450, Beechwood, Ohio, 44122.
Once a stroke occurs and the immediate care has been given, what happens next? What's involved for your loved one and for you and your family? Dr. Patrick Schmitz here to walk us through the road to recovery. Dr. Schmitz, the medical director of the Cleveland Clinic Rehabilitation Hospital at Euclid Hospital. Thanks for joining us again, Doctor.
You're welcome.
We had you on a few weeks ago. You talked about what stroke is and
Right.
the importance of timing, getting something done quickly. But once that's done, once our loved one's in the hospital, what's the next step?
Okay, that's also a very important question. There's some confusion revolving around that. I think if you're a family of a loved one who's had a stroke, there are a couple of key things that you should ask. One is, are you going to a inpatient rehab hospital that provides a team approach? And that would include folks like myself that are board certified in physical medicine and rehab or in stroke rehab, a neurologist, for example.
There's a specialty in stroke rehab.
Well, there's a specialty in physical medicine and rehabilitation,
Okay.
and within that specialty, as well as within the specialty of neurology, there are stroke specialists.
Gotcha.
Some of those folks practice in rehab hospitals like myself.
Gotcha.
The Cleveland Clinic, for example, has 3 of those hospitals: Lakewood, Main Hospital, and Euclid. Euclid's the biggest one. And we've done stroke rehab there for 40 years. So in any event, the important things to ask: do you have the right medical personnel there? Do you have stroke specialists? Is there physician care 24 hours a day? So, Euclid Rehab, for example, is attached to the main hospital, so we have physician care there, 24 hours a day. The other important issues are the team. Who's on that team? Physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, recreational therapy, art therapy, music therapy, the physician,
I'm getting
social
tired
worker,
just listening to all these different kinds of therapies.
psychologist, also very important. Not only for the patient, but for the family. We often bring the families in and they go through the program in some sense as well.
Sounds like a huge commitment for the patient, things that they have to do, and also for the family.
It is. It is a big commitment. It's a big event when someone has a significant stroke. So we often need the families there. We ask them to come in and go to therapy.
Really?
We want them to see what's going on. We want them to know how things are going and what the picture's going to look like when their loved one goes home.
You had mentioned this team approach, and it sounds wonderful to have all these different specialists that can help work with someone. Tell us more about what each member of the team does.
Okay, sure. Well, there's the rehab doc, the rehab specialist. The psychologist often helps with the patients with depression. Depression's very common after stroke, and also with the family adjustment. We have speech therapy that works with swallowing and language, cognition, memory issues. We have physical therapy that works with your ability to get up, move around safely. Occupational therapy works with the things you do every day, getting dressed, doing things you need to do in the bathroom, all those important things that no one thinks about.
Do these team members work together?
They do. They work together, and sort of the interesting thing about an inpatient rehab unit is that each team member has an equal voice. So when we have a meeting, each person around that table has a definite voice into what's happening with that patient's care.
You actually get all these folks together in one room?
We do, twice a week.
Twice a week?
We see each other every day, but we get together in a formal fashion twice per week.
Wow. And tell us about the results. How does this end up?
Well, if you think about it, one word to me, or one phrase would be getting the person home, back to the community.
That's the goal.
The inpatient stroke rehab hospitals do a good job with that. About 75% of their patients, they're able to get back to the community, back home. So that's.
And you mentioned Cleveland Clinic, Maine.
Right, Lakewood and Euclid.
And Euclid's the biggest.
It is.
All right. Thank you very much,
You're welcome.
Doctor.
You're welcome.
Rehabilitation from a stroke takes hard work from the patient, the family, and a team, a medical team. But as Dr. Schmidt points out, the hard work pays off. My thanks to Dr. Schmidt for joining us today.
To find out more, contact the Cleveland Clinic Rehabilitation Hospital at Euclid Hospital, 216-692-8668, or www.clevelandclinic.org. Next, the do's and don'ts of helping your kids financially.
We're Gateway Title, keeping life simple. We can make it simple. We've got everything you need. See how easy selling your home can be. We're Gateway Title. We're keeping life simple.
Did you miss a phone number or a website? Here's your second chance, because we're going to list all that information again. Then I'll be back to help you decide if helping your kids could help or hurt you both. During these tough economic times, our adult children often need financial help. And we're parents, so of course we'd like to help them if we can. But there's a big question. If we do decide to help our kids with money, should we make a gift or should we make a loan? Here with a big answer for a big question is my big-time law partner, Mike Solomon. Thanks for joining us. All right, if we want to help our kids or maybe our grandkids financially, better off with a gift or a loan?
Well, I mean, that depends on a lot of factors, but a gift obviously is simpler. But remember, once you give the money away, you've given it away. You don't have any rights to get it back. And also, if you give money to one child, the other children may, be angry about it and feel they've been cheated.
Really? Yeah. All right, so if I give my kid money and he promises to pay it back, is that okay?
Well, it may not be, if you just an agreement and you don't have it in writing, you may not be able to enforce that payment. So if you're going to loan money and treat it as a loan, then put it in paper, have a written document.
If I give or loan my kid some money and then I die, then what happens?
Well, if you give money away to one child and then you pass away, then the other children aren't going to inherit that amount because there's no payback to the estate unless you put something in your estate planning document that somehow addresses a loan and a gift. that evens it up. If you make a loan, then your estate has that asset. It gets the money paid back eventually, and then it can all be divided evenly among the children.
But somebody has to know that there was this loan. If
That's
you
right,
just
yeah.
do it verbally, there might not be a piece of paper, and then nobody knows.
That's right. Memories aren't going to remember that loan.
If I go to a nursing home in the future, how does that impact a gift versus a loan?
Well, that could have a big impact. If you do a loan, and then you have to go to a nursing home, before you can apply for Medicaid, you're going to have to use that asset up, that amount that's owed back to you. But it's even worse potentially with a gift. If you make a gift of money and then apply for Medicaid, you're going to be ineligible because they're going to look back 5 years, see the gift, and your ineligibility period could be up to 5 years.
So a gift might be better if you do it more than 5 years later.
That's right, if you can get it out 5 years earlier.
Okay, and is there a limit on how much you can give as a gift to a child? I assume there's no limit on a loan.
Well, there's a limit, but it's not a practical limit. First of all, the recipient of a gift never pays income tax on it. The giver of the gift, every year they can give away $13,000, plus during their lifetime they can give another $5 million away without any gift taxes owed. So as a practical matter, it's not going to be a big deal.
So that $13,000 a year, you can, if you're like most people and you have less than $5 million, it's not going to matter.
That's right. You don't have to worry about it.
But a loan, there's no limits at all.
Yeah, you can loan as much as you want.
Okay, as much as you have.
That's right.
It depends on your kid. All right, you're such a nice parent wanting to help your kids. When they need financial assistance, you want to be there, but make sure you're taking the right steps. Whether you should make a gift or a loan, it depends on your personal situation. Talk to your lawyer before writing that check out, or call Mike with some questions. We'll be right back.
Call Budish, Solomon, Steiner, and Peck at 1-888-236-5173 for more information or to schedule a speaker for your organization. Or log on to www.budishandsolomon.com.
Thanks for watching. We're off next week, but we'll ring in the new year with you in 2 weeks on January 1st. We'll start 2012 by helping you register a roster of resolutions for your health. We'll meet a man whose retirement meant returning to his personal passion, picture taking. We'll resolve to help you smile more in the new year, and we'll prescribe what you need to do before you need Medicare. Until January 1st, please remember to make the most of your golden opportunities.
Would you like to join our kitchen conversation? All you have to do is call toll-free 1-877-765-1543 and leave us your question, name, and phone number. Or log on to www.golden.tv for all the latest information and show updates.